Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 242. Before we get into this week's review, as always, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to like and subscribe. I'd like to try and hit at least 100 likes on this week's review. Now then, let's get right down to business, shall we? The premise of this video may be slightly misleading because I'm not sure it's exactly a review of the chapter. The chapter is a bit mind-boggling. It's a bit incoherent, kind of. There's no point in trying to explain what happens in the chapter because it's all absurd. It's all essentially just a series of interconnected comedy bits that all just happen, and then one random detail in the bit turns into the next bit, and then so on and so on. This happens like 2 or 3 different times. So we're mostly just going to be talking about Takaba, specifically Takaba's power, and how it works, and how strong it is, because, oh boy. So, as we had already established, Takaba's power manifests things that he finds funny into reality. This is a technique that can even affect Satoru Gojo, so, it ignores infinity. And Takaba is unaware of this power. It still seems like he might be unaware of it. I don't know if Takaba just thinks everything's a hallucination or something. I think he might, due to the fact that Kenjaku says everything that happens in these scenarios are just like a simulation to him. So I'm not sure how attached to reality Takaba is. He always seems very aloof and somewhat disconnected from everything that's going on, which is why him seeing Hazunoki's body was like a really big wake up for him. That's why he got so shocked, because it was just like, there's nothing funny here. This is serious business, and I'm not built for that. Well, it turns out he is built for that. He's built to make everything silly. So, we've gone beyond manifesting little props and punchlines from jokes, Now we're just making shit happen. So, the way Kenjaku describes this power here is that it manifests things that Takaba finds funny into reality. But the thing that's added this chapter is that it resonates with the mind and soul of other people who are present and forces them to respond to it and play along, essentially. They are forced to partake in the bit. We already had some allusions to that in the previous chapters because Kenjaku was thinking things that he would not think normally. And now we have that here, arguably, with his participation in some of these bits, being a police officer who's pulled over Takaba for drunk driving after he one-taps a special grade with the isekai truck when he becomes a really hot lady nurse. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. You already know that happened if you've been on Twitter. Just stuff like that. Participating in a game show, those sorts of things. You were just forced to play along. And oftentimes, you end up being the butt of the joke at some point. And you end up getting slapped with something. Usually not anything too harmful. The only time blood is drawn on Kenjaku this chapter is when him and Takaba are playing rock, paper, scissors, and they stick their fingers up each other's noses, and this gives Kenjaku a nosebleed. The way he describes it is that for Takaba, all of this is just a simulation. He is not harmed by anything that happens here. He gets hit by a fucking truck. Or not a truck, he gets hit by like a taxi. And nothing happens to him. He's totally fine after the fact. Kenjaku hits him with a defibrillator. He electrocutes him so hard that he turns into a skeleton, and he's completely unharmed in the next panel. So, for Takaba, because he's the one making all of these bits, nothing happens to him. Nothing that harms him actually harms him. But for Kenjaku, even though Takaba's not thinking of that many violent situations to harm Kenjaku, anytime something does harm him, it's real. Now, it's not major damage, so I imagine Kenjaku would still be able to heal from it, but the issue is, when is this going to end? Oh, it'll end when Takaba's satisfied. Well, Takaba's someone that always wants to be funny. He always wants to be making people laugh. He has spent the entire series, since he has appeared in the Culling game, just doing his comedy bit. He is never going to get tired of it. The bits are never going to end. You've been trapped in a comedy hell. So you're just gonna keep partaking in these until you die. Presumably. Or, you just get really exhausted and Takaba goes, alright, I'm done, and then he leaves, because Takaba doesn't like killing people. We have never seen Takaba kill a person. He never got any points in the Culling game from killing people. Which is why, Kenjaku isn't just getting thrown into actual death traps here. Everything is some kind of bit. And if he gets harmed, it's just kind of like a side effect of the bit. It's just part of the little slapstick punchline. But it's never going to end. You can't escape it. And you have to play along. So, theoretically, Takaba can run out of cursed energy from this, but we don't know how much cursed energy it uses, and we don't know how much cursed energy Takaba has. First thing very clear this chapter, Takaba is obviously a special grade. He is so obviously a special grade sorcerer. He's a fucking reality warper. That already puts you up there, in all honesty. You could argue maybe not if it's like really small-scale reality warping of really minor things, but when you're doing this, when you're bringing people into fake realities that operate under comedy rules, you're a special grade. So presumably, he's got that special grade quantity of cursed energy. But how much do each of these scenarios use? That's the big question. The other solution here that Kenjaku talks about is satisfying Takaba's desire for comedy. As long as something is funny enough for Takaba to be satisfied, the bit, the routine, will end. So that's what he's going to try to do at the end of the chapter, to some extent, is, Takaba, you want your duo stand-up routine? Alright, let's have it. Though at the same time, he's perhaps bringing Takaba into a situation that can beat him, because this power still relies on Takaba's confidence in his own comedic value, in his own sense of humor. So where are they doing their stand-up routine? In front of a live audience. Where did the live audience come from, you might ask? Oh, they're probably people that Takaba created through the technique, because he can just make living people as part of bits, who just disappear once the bit's over. Yeah. So, assuming those are just real people, they're created to be real people, those would, possibly destroy Takaba's confidence if his jokes aren't good. This is also the part where I should bring up that because the bits rely or resonate with the other people involved in the technique, other people can influence the direction of the bits, which is what Kenjaku does when he pretends to be a little black cat that Takaba wants to get out of the street, but it's just to lure him into the road so he gets hit by a car. You can do that, but nothing you do is gonna hurt Takaba, because to him, none of it's actually real. So in summary, this is how powerful Takaba is. He can manifest things into reality that one-shot special grade curses. He can force people, including people as powerful and as intelligent as Kenjaku, to act in ways that they would not normally, and think in ways that they would not normally. It can actually influence the way that you think. you cannot harm Takaba when in these fake realities. But you can be. And the damage you take will stack up over time. I don't know if you can use reverse curse technique to heal yourself because of the way that the technique influences your mind. I also don't know if you'd be able to use a domain in this situation because it influences your mind. We know because of how domains work that they would be able to harm Takaba unless Takaba's power just overrides all rules in the universe. I wouldn't be shocked if it does, but assuming it doesn't, a domain has sure hit and ignores techniques, so theoretically, if you open a domain, you would be able to harm Takaba and probably end the simulation. But maybe you can't, because you wouldn't think to, or you wouldn't be allowed to think to, while participating in the bits with Takaba. What else? Anything else? Not really. Its only real weaknesses are that the technique relies upon Takaba's confidence that what he's doing is funny, and I'm pretty sure after his flashback it's going to be really hard to convince him otherwise, or he runs out of cursed energy and we have no idea how long that would take. So how strong is Takaba? Very. He's very strong. He's, theoretically unbeatable. If you can't open your domains in a fight with him, he's probably kind of unbeatable. He might be top 3. I'm reluctant to put him above Gojo and Sukuna because while he can harm people, we don't know if he will kill them. A cursed spirit, he doesn't consider that a person. It's like a weird ghost monster thing to him. It gets killed as part of a bit. Oh my god, a special grade got one-tapped by the isekai truck. Holy shit, that's hilarious, it's part of the bit. He doesn't have a domain. I don't know if he really needs one. I'm probably mostly just coping. He's arguably top of the verse. What can I say? He's the strongest. Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to see more of what limitations, if any, exist with this technique to know if I would put him above those two. Like, what's the range of the technique? How close do you have to be to Takaba? Does Takaba see you and just immediately teleports over to you because he's like, do you like comedy? Would you like me to introduce you to my hyperfixation? Who knows? It's a vague power. And that's what makes it so fucking dangerous. Is it's just, he manifests things he finds funny into reality, and if other people are involved, he just includes them in it. That's so broken that I don't know if Gojo and all of his limitless powers can do anything about it. I don't know if Sukuna and all of his insane powers can do anything about it. I don't know. I have no idea. It's that broken. It's that serious. So, how is Kenjaku able to fight him? How does Kenjaku even stand a chance at beating him here? Is this more Kenjaku plot armor? No, it's just the usual JJK thing of powers are circumstantial, they're situational. And you might be able to beat someone stronger than you, like Yuji was able to beat Mahito due to being Sukuna's vessel. Or Kenjaku is possibly able to beat Takaba here because he is by far the most intelligent character in the series. He is one of the most strategic characters in the series, and he's also a guy that likes comedy. So he sees Takaba's technique, he experiences it for himself, and he's like, at this rate, I'm gonna lose. This is not a power that can be beaten through violence, it has to be beaten through comedy, so we're gonna do a stand-up routine. I can't imagine Gojo, despite the Gojo and Geto cover page that's definitely getting recreated next chapter, doing this. I can't imagine Sukuna doing this. I can't imagine them humoring this, in all honesty. Maybe Gojo, probably not Sukuna. So I don't know how they would beat this exactly if they can't open their domains. If they can, I see how it's done. But if not, you would wonder why Kenjaku hasn't opened his yet. Well, he's having fun, actually. He is having the most fun that he has had in centuries. Him and Takaba are having a blast, splashing around in the ocean with each other. And he's so glad that he decided to do the culling games. Not because of the giant super curse that he plans to create by the end of it, but because of this random comedian that happened to be a part of it and gain godlike power. He is having so much fun because he gets to play around with this silly, silly man. They're probably in love. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be surprised. We've found it, folks. The non-toxic yaoi. But yeah, Kenjaku is probably the only person equipped to beat Takaba, not because he's stronger than him, but because he has the right mentality, the right mindset. He is mentally equipped to fight Takaba in a way that people stronger than him are not. So, that's the reason he stands a chance. According to the naming conventions that this fight's chapters have been going by, we have 3 more chapters left, I think, because it's part of the lyrics of a song. I don't know what the fuck would happen in another 3 chapters. I mean, am I shocked that Gege would make this fight a whole volume long? No, not really. He'd finish off the volume by ending the fight. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Gojo Sukuna bleeds over into this volume, so if this fight's 7 chapters, I'm pretty sure it would finish the volume. Which, makes sense that he would want to do that. It's so funny. It's so funny how there were a lot of people when this happened. When we didn't get the start of Yuji and Higuruma fighting Sukuna, and we're like, this is stupid. Why are we going away from that to this filler nonsense? Who the fuck wants to see Takaba fight Kenjaku? I'm done. Millions were filtered by this fight. I mean, no offense to anyone, but it filtered out all of the idiots and losers that only like hype shit. They only like hype shit. They don't like good shit. People got filtered by the end of Gojo versus Sukuna because they didn't understand things and couldn't fully appreciate things. That was great. They got filtered by this because they didn't see the vision of the comedic relief character having a fight with the main villain, who is a yappy, goofy individual. I like Kenjaku so much more now because of this fight. I was kind of whatever on him because he had kind of an motivation, and he kind of has the mastermind villain plot armor. But he's just so silly here. He's just bouncing off of Takaba so well that I can't help but like him more. He's just so silly. And that makes me like him way more than I did before. This fight has done wonders for Kenjaku's character. It made Takaba a much more fleshed out character because of his flashback, and it's giving us the most absurd fight in the series. People love this fight. We've really only gotten 2 chapters of them fighting each other, and you already have a lot of people saying this is my favorite fight in the series. This is the best fight due to sheer entertainment value. So if you dropped it because of this, I don't know what I can do for you. I don't know what I can say. Do I think Kenjaku is going to win this fight? He's probably going to get away. He's probably going to satisfy Takaba's desire to be found funny by the masses, and he'll be allowed to escape. But that's fine, because Takaba is here to delay Kenjaku. He was never sent here for the purpose of beating him. He was sent here to keep him busy so he doesn't interfere in the Sukuna fight. So he doesn't show up right after the Sukuna fight's over when everyone's weakened and half the team is dead. And is like, hey guys, I'm perfectly fine right now. I'm gonna wipe your entire party. Takaba was sent here to prevent that from happening. As long as he fulfills that, who knows how much time they're spending in this simulation, then he's won, You have Yuta and Maki show up to fight Kenjaku after Takaba's done having a laugh. He's succeeded. He's done what he's here to do. And, you know, it's fine if Kenjaku doesn't die here because Takaba's technique is not one based around killing or even harming people. It's just based around making people laugh and satisfying Takaba's desire to be funny. It's a power that works for him. It's the most powerful, not that dangerous technique. I mean, it's kind of dangerous because you can still be harmed in it and Takaba can't, and there's not really anything you can do about it. But it's not like getting hit with a hollow purple or, you know, an instantaneous, all-cutting dismantle. It's just you get thrown into something really funny. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this week's chapter. If you guys enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews every week that we get a new chapter. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.